Hello all of you. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's class we are going to discuss about numeric or math function. So in the last video we have discussed regarding character or string function. In today's lecture we are going to discuss about numeric or math function. So there are different sub functions in this particular function, like you can see ABS function is there, round function, then greatest function, then list function, then likewise you can see minimum. Next we are having group or multiple rows or aggregate function. So later on we will go through this function. So in today's class we are going to focus on numeric or math function. So let's see one by one what are the functions. So first function is ABS. So ABS function, it converts the negative value to the positive value. So if at all any of the column is giving you negative values, so all those values will be converted to the positive values. So let's take an example. So if you are working on an expression which is giving us output in the negative form, then we will try to convert this output in the positive form. So let's suppose if I want to subtract 5 minus 7, so this will be my original value, and next I am applying the function called as ABS. So you can see the syntax ABS, and we are passing two parameters, or we can say the expression we have passed. So this will give us negative value. So this ABS will convert the negative value to the positive value as ABS. So this is alias name from dual. So we are working on the dual table. So if we try to run this query, let's see what is the output. So if we run the query, so we will get the output original. So if without applying function ABS, we are getting output as -2, and by applying ABS function we are getting output as +2. So this is how it converts any column value to the positive value, any negative value to the positive value. So let's work on EMP table. So let's open the EMP table. So this is our EMP table, which is having different salaries, also which is having commission. So we are having, let's work on salary and commission column. Now if I'm interested to subtract column EMP commission 2 and EMP salary, we are getting negative values. So let's see. So select star, sorry, ecom, that is commission minus EMP salary. So we are deducting this commission column from this salary. So if you do this, then we are supposed to get the negative value. So we are keeping it in alias actual. Next, also we are applying the ABS function for that particular expression. So let's suppose, so this is our expression, that is commission column is deducted from the salary. So if we do this, we will get the desired output. So let's try to run the query. So if we run the query, we will get the output as, so see the actual value. So after deducting commission from the salary, we can say the salary is deducted from the commission, then we are getting output as the negative, all the values are negatives. So if we apply ABS function, then the values are converted to the positive values. So likewise, this ABS function works. Now next, second function is round function. Now what does this round function does? It returns the round off value of expression or column. So let's do one expression. So I want the answer of this 2 into 23.13 as original, and I want to round the answer of this particular expression, and I want to store in the alias called as round off from dual table. So let's try to run this query. So if I run this query, we are getting output as, so see the original output is giving in decimals. So round off will round the value to the desired digits. So you can see the 46 is the answer. Likewise, let us work on the EMP table. So if I show you the table of employee, so this is our table. Now in this case, we will be adding the column EMP salary with 11.23. So 11.23 will be added into this column, then we are getting output in the decimal. So this will be the actual value, and we are going to round up this value by using the round function. So we are passing the parameters in the form of expression. So we are getting the output in roundup form. So let's run this query. So if I run this query, you can see the output. So actual value is in decimal and roundup value will be roundup. So you can see the values. So this is the function called as round. Now next third function is greatest. Now what does this greatest does? So with it returns the maximum value from the list. So let's consider, so let's work on the dual table. So I want the greatest among these three values. So the values are 10, 20 and 30. So if I run this query, so greatest value will be given as 30. So likewise, so if you work on the EMP table, EMP1 table, so let us see the EMP1 table. So this is our EMP1 table. Now from this, I want the greatest of EMP salary, EMP number. So this column and this column, that is salary. From this two columns, I want the maximum value, or I can say the greatest value. So let's see what is the syntax. So first we are trying to fetch the original values. So EMP number and salary are fetched, original values are fetched, and then we are applying the greatest function, passing the two arguments, that is EMP number and salary. So from these two columns, I want the greatest value. So if we run this query, we are getting the output likewise. So this is the output. So you can see the first now serial number one, EMP number, and from salary the greatest is EMP number, that is 7800. Likewise, if you look at the second row, you will see again EMP number is greatest than the salary. So likewise, we are getting the outputs of every row. So this is the function called as greatest. Now similarly, we have another function called as list function. Now what does this list function does? Now this list function will return the list value from the list. So similarly, you can be, if you work on the dual table, so I want the list value from these three values, that is 11, 45 and 90. So if I run this query, I am getting the list value, that is 11. So likewise, again similarly, if you work on the same table, if I want the list value from EMP number and salary, we will be getting the list value. So let's run this query. So if I run this query, I am getting the list value. So see the row number one. So from EMP number and salary, the salary is the list. So that's why it is returning the list value of every row. So this is how the different functions in the numeric or math functions are there. So this is about all the math functions. Now let's see about the group or multiple row or aggregate functions. So what does these functions does? So let's see one by one. So the first function is min. So what does this min does? So it returns the minimum value from the particular column. So let's suppose we want to work on EMP1 table. So this is our EMP1 table. So from this table, let's work on the salary column. So this is sal column, that is salary. So from this salary, I want the minimum salary of the employee, of that particular employee. So let's try to fire the query likewise. So select minimum salary as minimum salary from the EMP1. So if I run this query, so I will be getting the minimum salary as 800. Likewise, if you work on the EMP number, we will be getting the minimum employee number as EMP minimum number. So let's run the query. So again, if you run this same query on the another column, we will be getting the minimum employee number as 7369. Now let's see what is the max function. Now in the max function, it is going to return the maximum value from the particular column. Now again, we will be working on the same salary column, and also we can work on the employee number column. So if I work on the salary column, so let's run the query. Maximum salary will be, now in this case you will be getting as 6000. So in this query we have fired the maximum salary as well as minimum salary from this particular EMP1 table. So the maximum salary for that particular column is 6000 and minimum is 800. Now next, similar, the next function is count function. Now what does this count function does? It counts the number of rows in a particular table. So let's view the table of EMP. So employee table is this one. So if you count all the rows, if you fire the query like select count and parameter as star, means it will count all the rows in this column. Let's see what is the output. So if I fire this query, it will count all the rows, that is 12 rows. So all the rows, so the total number of rows in the EMP table is 12. So this is the count. Likewise, if I am interested to count specific column, so let's view our original table. So this is our original table. Now let's see, I want the value of EMP name, all the EMP names which are present in the column. Now focus on this particular column. You will see there is one value which is null. Now when it counts this particular column, the null value will be excluded. So this null value will not be counted. So let's see what is the output. So it will give 11 as output. So there was one value null. So that value is not counted in this particular query. Likewise, we have this may be your interview question, like if there is a question like select count 1 from EMP. Let's see what is the output. So it is going to fire the query similar way as that we done in this case, that is select count star from EMP. So it is showing the same output. So it is counting all the rows from the EMP. So this might be a question for from interview point of view. Next, select count. I am passing a string, normal string from EMP. Let's see what would be the output. If you fire the query, again you will be getting the same output. So it works like a select count star from EMP. Now next, again there is one more case. Select count, we are passing one expression, that is 100 into 0 from EMP. So let's see what would be the output. Again it show the same output. So again you can see, so these three queries are giving the same output. So you have to keep in mind, this might be a question in the interview. They will give you this query and they will ask you what will be the output of this query. So the output is same as select count star from the employee, means it is going to count each and every row including null values. Now next, moving further, so next function is sum function. Now sum function, what does it do? So addition of specific column values. So all the addition of integer is done. So let us view the EMP1 table. So employee one table, this is our employee one table. So let's work on this particular column, that is salary column, that is sal. So I want the total sum of each and every employee in my organization or in my table. So what is the sum of this particular salary column? So let's fire the query. So see the syntax, select sum function and pass the argument. The column is passed of which you want the total summation. If I fire the query, you will get the total summation, that is for 46,000. Similarly, we have one more function, that is average function in math or a numeric function. So what is this average function does? So it returns average value of specific column values. So let's take a view on EMP1 table. So this is EMP1 table. So again we are working on the column, that is salary column. So you can see I want the average of all the salaries in my table. So simply you have to write average function and pass the argument, pass the column name. So if you run the query, we will get the output average of all the salaries. So we are getting the output in the decimal. So let's round up the value. So simply round up function we have discussed in the previous functions. So simply you have to add the round up function and fire the subquery as average salary. So if you fire all this query, we will get the answer in roundup. So value will be rounded up. So this is 3067. So this is the last function of this aggregate function. So this was the type of multiple row, or we can say group function or aggregate function. So I hope this concepts or these functions are clear. So in today's class, we had covered the different functions, like we can say group or multiple function or row function, or and we have discussed about numeric or math functions. So these two functions we had covered in this particular video. So if you want to learn more functions, we had covered one more video in the previous class. So you can go and watch the video. The link is in the description box. So thank you all. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. So thank you all and have a wonderful day.